Welcome to Business Casual, where entrepreneurs find inspiration to start and grow their online business. Today, I'm chatting with Ana Flores, the CEO of We All Grow Latina, the first and largest community of Latina digital influencers. In addition to being named one of People en Español's most powerful women in 2017, Ana has also spoken at the White House twice. We're absolutely thrilled to talk to her today about influencer marketing, branding, and securing partnerships. Welcome, Ana.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
All right, Ana, give us the elevator pitch for We All Grow Latina.
Well, We All Grow Latina, the quick elevator pitch is that we're on a mission to elevate the voices and stories of Latinas via the power of community. And how we do that, it is precisely by creating community both online and offline with our events.
So We All Grow Latina originally started out as Latina Bloggers Connect, which was a network for connecting brands with influencers. Can you tell us a little bit about how that idea came about?
When I discovered the world of blogging and I launched my mom blog called Spanglish Baby, I realized that this was the space that I needed to be in. Why? Because it offered me limitless possibilities, right? Not something that I felt working for these huge media companies, multinational media companies, that they were great fun and I learned a lot, but I always felt that famous glass ceiling, right? So discovering this, I was like, okay, this is great, but how am I going to make money? I know how to create content, but how am I going to make a living? And it was by partnering with brands. But the blogger networks that existed at the time didn't really understand how to sell a blog like the one that I had, Spanglish Baby, that was in culture, and much less for other, mostly Latina mom bloggers at the time that were writing either English, Spanish, bilingual blogs, or in Spanish. So as much as they wanted to embrace us, they didn't really understand how to sell us, how to sell the culture, right? So that's where we came in. We realized that there was a need, there was a niche. I needed to monetize. My fellow community members at the time, other Latina mom bloggers, a few fashion bloggers, wanted to continue doing this as well, wanted to monetize. So we realized that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We could just do it ourselves and really cater it to the Hispanic space. And like I said, I was the first one. And within 10 months, we had competition. And, and the space has really, really, really grown. And to date, we still have the largest network and community of Latina influencers in the country.
Okay, so you actually started off with Spanglish Baby. Can you tell us how you started off with that idea?
Spanglish Baby was beautiful because, like I said, we found a space, and I say we because I had a partner with that, a space where I could use my talent of creating content and content that I knew that's resonated directly with Latinas. We weren't, it wasn't because we saw the data and knew that this was the group to cater to, and we did research. We needed nothing of that. We knew who we were talking to because that was us. And we knew that there was lots of moms out there just like us. So we started creating content immediately using our talent as producers, and my partner is a journalist, and knew that we needed to create content that resonated, that came from that place of two moms trying to navigate all these questions about, am I going to confuse my child if I'm speaking to them in both languages, etc. And at the same time, we knew we needed experts to guide that along. So we launched right away with a column called Ask an Expert, and we had experts, and we were reviewing bilingual products. But really what we were like on a mission to making sure that we could find all the products that were aimed towards our kids, like bilingual books, apps in Spanish, games, etc., and make sure that we reviewed them and celebrated them and gave them a space to be able to promote themselves, right? Because we had that right audience. What it ended up becoming was really, we became advocates for bilingual education. Everything from bilingual education to raising bilingual kids, speaking with brands like Disney, being in board meetings with them and different other brands, and helping them understand how to reach this, this important community. 1 out of 4 children being born still are Latinos. So, we need to find the way to really address us.
So how important is carving out a niche when establishing your brand presence?
I'm all about niches. I'm like, I'm a niche within a niche within a niche. Spanglish Baby was the niche of parenting within Latina moms, within Hispanics, right? Parent. So I truly believe in that, especially if you want to become an expert. And if you look at what the internet has become, right? It's people gravitate towards their echo chambers towards their niches, towards their community, towards their groups. And it's much more about the group foundation because we are overwhelmed by content. We are overwhelmed by, by the people in groups with thousands and thousands of people. So what people are looking for is really to follow, right? To follow and to receive information from trusted sources. And the more niche your content is as an independent business owner, as an independent content producer, the more niche your content is, the more you're able to establish an expertise in that niche. And that expertise establishes trustworthiness. So I am all about having a niche, but the one thing that you need to be careful about when you're working on niche is that don't go Google and see, which are the biggest keywords for such niche. Okay, let me go there, right? And create content about that. Because if your end goal is to become an expert in it, it has to be something that you're passionate about because it's going to show. And you're going to have to be creating content about this every single day. If things go well, you may be writing a book, being invited to speak on it, etc. So it has to be something that you truly are passionate about and can grow with it as well.
So 2 questions for you. I know that you host a yearly summit. So first question is, how did you get started doing like an annual conference? And second question, what has been the benefit for your business in doing that?
It's hard to monetize a conference the first year. When you think about it, you have no proof of concept, right? You're going to brands, you're relying on sponsorships more than on ticket sales. So you're going to brands telling them, I have this fabulous idea. Here's a deck, but you really don't have proof of concept yet. So the brands that do that came on board as sponsors the first year. Neutrogena was their title sponsor the first year. They've been on board for 4 years now as title sponsor. But from the beginning, it was relationships that we have already established from the influencer marketing end, and that they trusted who we were and the quality of the work that we did, and they trusted the quality of the community as well, right? Thankfully. So what helped us, we always knew from the beginning that this was going to be an advertising marketing line item for us. We weren't doing it specifically to make money at that point, the first year, but really as a way to continue bringing forward the brand and have the brand be very noticeable, and from them being able to continue creating relationships for the campaigns and influencer marketing portion of the company. So we saw it like that. Now we're on to our 5th year next year, and obviously we do make a profit from the company. But it's still, at the end of the day, events are really, really difficult to manage in that sense because of the actual ROI sometimes doesn't match the amount of work that goes into it and the resources that go into it. But you have to see it as a whole for what it brings to the company. So it brings brand awareness. Absolutely. It brings, it allows you to connect with other, especially with sponsors and brands, to be able to showcase the quality of your work and hopefully be able to continue expanding that throughout the year. And then for us, because we are powered by community, it is important for us to constantly be getting to know the community, being able to listen to them and understand where the community is at. And that is of tremendous value to us as a company.
So let's say some of our viewers own a brand or a product that they want to get in front of the eyes of influencers. Do you have any recommendations for them?
So let's assume that it's a small business owner, right? And you're starting out. So you definitely want to start out the most organic way possible. And it's actually still the most effective way possible, which is having your ear close to the ground and listening. And there's nothing, no matter how much you can pay for a listening tool, nothing is more valuable than you being able to do it yourself or have a team that is able to do that. So what you want to do is be able to identify the influencers that are passionate about your brand. And that's where you need to start. And you need to start by creating relationships. So I would give an advice of, I really feel Instagram is the best place to do this right now. And so you can search, you can find which are the hashtags that are very meaningful and have really high engagement that are aligned with your brand, and start following and using those hashtags, but truly engaging and hearing and listening who is engaging, right? Who is creating original content, and who maybe, start by commenting before, and always focus on, like I was saying earlier, giving more than the ask. So start by engaging with them, see what they like, see what they identify, have a short list of maybe 5 or 10 that you want to, be present with, so that they recognize you and that they know that you're establishing a relationship. And then when you come for the ask, when you can ask them, listen, I want to send you a product trial. Do you mind checking it out and letting me know how you feel about it? right? It's much easier for them to be able to say yes. And maybe, because they've already established a relationship with you, when they receive it, want to actually share it. So that's where I would start just really thinking about how can I start building and establishing relationships, because a good influencer marketing campaign is going to cost you $10,000 or above. And that could be one influencer, could be 10 micro influencers. I mean, it just varies a lot. But they are high budget. So I would start, if you're a small business, I would start with just really engaging in the same way. Go to the conferences where they're going to be at, go to the events where they're going to be at, start meeting people in person and creating those relationships.
Okay, cool. And on the other hand, if they wanted to get their brand or their product in front of marketers or like a big brand partnership, how would you recommend going about that?
Well, actually, the advice that we always give is to go to events, to go to conferences. There's nothing like the face-to-face. But before you do that, you need to be prepared, right? Even before you invest in a conference. I see conferences as the best investment because I am living proof of it. I really have built most of my brand relationships. Client relationships have been by meeting them face to face. But you have to be able to follow that up. When you meet them, you need to be able to have, if we're talking about the business or the blog or the YouTube, et cetera, have it set up in a way where it is friendly and it makes a really great first impression for that brand that you're just meeting. And then you make a great impression in person and they want to see what you're about. So they're going to Google you, they're going to go to LinkedIn, they're going to link. So make sure that you have everything set up to be able to start working with brands that your audience really well, your audience, your customer, your consumer, that you know them really well, so that then you understand which brands you need to actually focus on to approach, right? That what you need to make sure is that your audience, your consumer, is aligned with their audience or consumer, because at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for partnerships, for ways to reach their end consumer in ways that are authentic, that are organic, and that they probably can't reach on their own.
All right, let's talk about influencers who kind of use the buy followers, padding their numbers with fake followers. How are brands cracking down on businesses that are trying those kinds of tactics?
Listen, I've been on Instagram, I think, since day one. How many years? And I still only have 11,000 followers, right? And why? Because I've looked at the bots for engagement and everything, and it just always, to me, has just always felt just like that, fake, right? And it's the same in any industry. You don't never want to inflate your numbers, and then the last thing you want is to be caught and then be caught as an inauthentic person. The Unilever CMO just made a really strong statement at Cannes a few weeks ago, saying that Unilever is cracking down on fake followers and is not going to work with influencers that have fake following anymore. It's a pretty big statement for such a big company, to be able to actually follow through via their agencies and et cetera. But the statement really helps the industry, right? Because we really want to make sure that influencers understand that even things like loop giveaways, like Instagram pods, all of that at the end of the day is inflated engagement. It kind of helps when you're starting out and maybe, especially the pods, to meet other people, et cetera, that it is very easy for those paying attention to realize, just by going to your Instagram or your Facebook and see the quality of the comments and the quality of the engagement, to know if you're participating in anything that's just, fake. At the end of the day, the reason why a brand like Unilever is saying this is because they start understanding that, quality over quantity. And again, many of these big brands have been part of the problem, right? By focusing on wanting to work only with influencers because of their numbers and having inflated reports that made everybody look good. And now they're realizing that it doesn't translate into sales. We need authentic customers, people that are actually readers, followers that have decided to follow you, even if you only have 10 followers, but they're following you because they believe in you, and you can build that trust. And I think that that's what more people are looking at, right? Is this somebody that I trust?
And how has influencer marketing changed over the years, in your opinion?
Oh my goodness, it has changed so much. We started out as a blogger network to be able to directly connect and know really well our influencers, our community, and understand really well what the brand was looking for, and be able to broker those connections, be able to bring that together in a human way. Now what has changed is that because it has grown so much, because there are so many bloggers and influencers, especially when you're looking at general market and total market, we're talking millions. So it has become a commoditized industry led by technology. So now it's all about the influencer marketplaces, and the influencer marketplaces are run by algorithms and by artificial intelligence that helps you connect your ideal match, right, between influencer and brand. Now, what that means is that both the influencer needs to have a profile, and each and every marketplace, which there's hundreds of now, have an up-to-date profile that includes really good keywords to be able to be found, right? And on the other end, it takes the brand and the clients that sign up for these services to make sure that they're doing the correct searches, right? As good as that engine is going to be, the correct searches to actually be able to be placed with the ideal influencer. But what we're missing here is that we don't know the ethics of the influencer. We don't know the professionalism on turning things on time. We don't, there's a lot of the vetting that is missed by this. And I think, there's pros and cons. We are not a technology industry. We're not a technology company, and we have decided not to be one. That's why right now we're very focused on community. But that's really where we have seen the change, and we have seen that it's become a lot more commoditized. But there's still plenty, the important thing to focus on is that there's plenty of opportunities for influencers to continue to be able to grow their brands and monetize. I just feel it's a lot more dispersed than it used to be.
Amazing. So last question for you. We all want to know, what's next for We All Grow Latina?
What is next for We All Grow? So We All Grow, actually, we launched our first paid membership site. It's called Changemakers Collective. We launched it in June, early June. And the reason why we did this is because we are, at the heart, we are a community. And we want to continue elevating those voices and those stories. And we want to make sure that Latinas are constantly connecting with each other. But the reason why we're making this a paid membership is because we want to make sure that the people that are part of the community actually want to provide value, right? It's really easy to open a Facebook group and accept everyone, and then you can say, yes, I have 5,000 people in my community. How many people are actually engaging? How many people are actually providing value to other people in the community? And that's what a community is about. I give, I receive, I give, I receive, and it's a constant exchange of energy. So we wanted that we were constantly being asked, like, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a blogger, but this is a community that I feel I belong to. And this happens really via Instagram. That's why we believe so much in Instagram as a community tool. And they kept asking us, how can I be part of this? How can I belong? And that's what we figured, that this would be a great place to do that. And it's been great because we're discovering so many incredible entrepreneurs, Latinas launching organic skincare lines, Latinas launching yoga pant lines, Latinas launching new blogs, etc. And it's so beautiful to be able to discover and help them along on their journey. So that is a really big focus. We're creating a lot of e-learning content for this site and be able to expand that e-learning offering and just really grow much more on the community front and everything that means, including events. We do a lot of co-hosted, co-branded events, but really just expand and understand where it is that the community needs to be. And what we're hearing and seeing right now is that the community is really activist. And we want to make sure that we can help them in that sense grow their voice as well, understand where their place is, in these changing times.
Such an interesting insight. Ana, thank you so much for your time. It was great having you.
No, thank you. I look forward to seeing it.
Thanks for watching. Click subscribe and then go watch more of our content. Okay, now click.